Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back one more time. It is that time of the season. Your boy is back. You already know what that means. Football is back. By football, I do mean NFL action going down. I mean, very, very shortly. We are less than 12 hours. I mean, closing up on nearly 6 hours before kickoff. So we got to get right into it. Quick Take Season 3 is back after a 220 win accumulation so far. But yeah, shout out to y'all for tuning in so far for the first two seasons. If you have not, go back and show some love on the old videos, whether it is quick takes, whether it is jump ball, whether it is even football frenzy, which has been getting love. Thank you guys so much for that. But like I said, today we are back with season 3 of quick takes, and I mean, you guys like last time cannot read behind me. It does say NFL kickoff with the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys, and there are a lot of things to talk about. I mean, hallelujah, football's back. Just take a breather. But moving on, we do start in the city of brotherly love at the home of the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champion in the Philadelphia Eagles. And they will be hosting a divisional opponent in the Dallas Cowboys, which should be very interesting with all the drama that has unfolded with the Michael Parsons situations. I have mentioned that situations and my thoughts on it, like not in a deep dive, but just like a slight little touch on the pre-takes for the season before the season started. So if you guys have not watched that video, please go back and do so. But let's talk about it one more time. Michael Parsons. I mean, a phenomenal player. I mean, arguably one of the best, if not the best, 5-year run as a pass rusher. But I think that is what we kind of like forget to separate at times, where it's like for a semi-top team like the Dallas Cowboys who get to the playoffs but get bounced out in the first round. But because in the last 5 years since 2020, when they went, I want to say 6 wins or 7 wins, they've been in the playoffs 3 out of the next 4 years. All those years they got just kicked out of the playoffs in the first round, no matter the talent that they had. So why do I mention that? Because even with the Micah Parsons going crazy, having, I mean, like I said, one of the best starts to a career from a pass rushing standpoint, what did he really bring to the Dallas Cowboys, bring to the star itself? He was making his name. He was putting himself down in the history books, doing all of that. Yes, the wins came with it, but that was mostly in the regular season. If I have not even looked at his playoff stats, I do not want to, because I know they're not that great. He has had opportunities, unlike Max Crosby. Imagine if Max Crosby got the opportunities that Mike Parsons did with the defenses and the just getting to the playoffs. Like that would just feed another beast into him. Micah has not shown that just yet. The podcast wheel is always going to be a problem later on. I just thought I mean, if that was really necessary, why didn't like a Dak go do it? Like as the Cowboys quarterback. Like there's already so many distractions being a Cowboy. I don't know if that was something necessary to put on your plate. But hey, who am I? I'm just here yapping on mine. So I am a nobody, Micah. You don't need to listen to me. But this is for the Cowboys fans who, and like all those media outlets who think Jerry Jones is the dumbest man of all time. He is also the man who fleeced the Vikings for that Herschel Walker trade, if you guys do not remember, which led to the Super Bowls in the first hand to begin with, to land Emmitt Smith, to land those offensive line pieces. And in this time around, if you trade Michael Parsons and you land another 3 Super Bowls, who is the dumb one here? Let the bad back that Micah has, let's say that, catapults into getting worse and worse and worse. Meanwhile, Kenny Clark at that age kind of turns into like Charles Haley without the Super Bowls at the Niners. And it comes down there, sets the tone in the middle of that defense. And on the outside, you just got to start finding rushers. Yes, they are not going to be Micah Parsons. Nobody's going to be Micah Parsons. But you can have serviceable pieces. Why do I mention that? Because they do have other pieces to pay in the offensive line. And also, they just traded for George Pickens to make that offense more lethal with an offensive-minded head coach in Brian Schottenheimer. So defensively, you still have a Sam Williams. Know that he's not Micah Parsons. Dante Fowler, serviceable for almost a decade, if not more, by now. But you have created depth on the inside. The last time you were in the playoffs, the Green Bay Packers ran all over you, literally all over you. Where was Micah Parsons then? Not stopping the run. Now you have Kenny Clark, Odigizua, hopefully I said your name right, Mozzie Smith, and Solomon Thomas, who can play on the inside and outside. That's four solid pieces on the inside. Not a lot of teams can say that. If you go back to watching the Eagles, not this time around, but the one that they did lose to the Chiefs the first time around, 2022, and that one they were just littered with veteran defensive tackles. You had your Ndamukong Suh, you had your Linval Joseph, and Fletcher Cox, and plethora of other guys. They could not get home to Patrick Mahomes. Yes, that's right. But Kenny Clark's not that old. Oza could still, just got paid. He should be taking that next step to get into the All-Pro conversation. Mozzie Smith, hopefully he develops well for them. Solomon Thomas, like I said, serviceable. He's been there for, a number of years around the league. He's been with the Raiders, the Niners, the Jets, now with the Cowboys for a few years. They did end up getting Kenneth Murray, I do believe, out of Tennessee last year. He was a Charger coming out of Oklahoma. Jack Sanborn, one of my favorite linebackers out of Chicago. I think he's underrated. The linebacker room in Chicago has been underappreciated. So I think he just kind of got lost in the shuffle. Like a Zach Bond, like he's going to kind of pop out a little bit more. He's not going to jump to the all-pro level like a Zach Bond, but I think he is going to jump to a level of being serviceable and popping up on film. Like that's where it starts off with. Damon Clark, solid. Kyer Elam, solid cornerback out of Florida. Did not end up working out with the Bills, but I think with Dallas he has a chance. He was a man corner. You have him at left-sided cornerback, having Trayvon Diggs as your right-sided cornerback. I mean, a few years ago, before his injuries started piling up, he was a decent corner. If we don't remember, Deron Bland, he just got paid. Shout out to the boy. He should be taking his next step again, hopefully being healthy. But yeah, like rather than paying $200 million to Michael Parsons, Jerry Jones, with his ego, let's not get this mistaken. It was definitely ego driven. If you're that rich, you have ego, and nobody's gonna say no to you. Like that would have been anybody in any situation, but it's an easy target. So let's just point at Jerry Jones. But let's also kind of give him the credit. He has drafted all those all pros, has put every piece together on the chessboard. But those pieces got to actually do their part as well. That's the part that's been missing. Is the Dallas Cowboys players. They could go, Jason Garrett on NBC, they could go say this about Jerry Jones and that about Jerry. For the most part, they don't say any much wrong about him. But, they do let some out of the bag. And in that situation, it's easy to blame the old man. But I think in this one, Cowboys actually might have, done something right with this one. Now let's kind of just jump around with the Eagles a little bit. Biggest thing that is scary for me, it is going to be their guards. I do believe Tyler Steen's at right guard, but Landon Dickerson, his health kind of being, I don't think he has passed at the very least 10 years in the league so far, maybe around 6, 7, 8. So it's kind of, little bit of scary hours for, I mean, just football fans and especially Eagles fans to kind of having to worry about Landon Dickerson just coming out of the Super Bowl with his knee injuries. If it's something that's nagging, maybe by like year 10, year 11, he's just like, I'm just gonna retire, and hangs it up a little bit earlier than they would have probably, liked, have lined up, and amongst other stuff. Especially for Saquon, it's going to be interesting. Like I just mentioned, Kenny Clark and Oza, they're going to be coming now. Defensively, that Cowboys front seven is going to have to hunt because Micah's not there anymore. So they're going to have to step up as a unit, not just a singular person. Moving on, I mean, after that, Jalen Hurts going to do his thing. The wide receivers probably got deeper. Saquon, I forget who his number two is. Gotta see that because I mean, last year was a historic year, but is that health gonna, still gonna stick with you as you enter your 30s? I hope so because I do want to keep seeing you on the field. Same with C-Mac, but gotta see it to believe it so far. After that, tight ends, you still got Dallas Goedert, solid piece to win with. Defensively, it's going to be interesting to see CJ being replaced. Last time around, went to the Super Bowl, lost it. I think just let him go or traded him away. Had to get him back from Detroit, won the Super Bowl, and then let him go again. I'm not sure if he has had the legal problems or if I'm mistaking him or mixing him with Jimmy Ward, but he's out of the building now, so that should be interesting to see. Their defensive backs, I think their cohesion, I guess you could say, that should be very intriguing to see. Our boy Jacorian Bennett, shout out to him, fourth rounder for the Raiders last year, got traded there for Thomas Booker the fourth. I think that was an excellent pickup for them. Pete Carroll doesn't like short corners. Kind of works out for them where they get three guys essentially in the defensive back room from the same draft with Quinyon Mitchell. You got Cooper DeJean, both already winning the Super Bowl last year, and now you have Jacorian Bennett added to that. And I do believe he is that dog. He possesses that dog in him to go succeed there, which I do hope he does. Yeah, so to start the season, I think for the Eagles, they just have to worry about their offensive line. And their competitive endurance, really, because you just won the Super Bowl. Some guys have been to the Super Bowl multiple times. Is that competitive stamina still gonna last to push you, propel you to another Super Bowl like the Chiefs have been doing for the past few years? Their downfall is coming soon, but I'll get to that episode tomorrow. But yeah, today's I'm gonna have to at the home of the Super Bowl champions on banner night. I think there's still a little bit of kinks that needs to be worked out. Overshawn is, I guess, out of this game as well. Payne Turner on IR. I'm just kind of making excuses now, but yeah, I do believe Eagles do handle it at home. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I'm seeing a score around like a 24-14-ish. But we'll see what happens. I hope you guys enjoy the game later. I definitely will. I will be back here tomorrow for the Chiefs Chargers game. Till then, it's all love.